So today we will discuss the last verses of the chapter on the pastime of Kaliya. And we heard last time the prayers of the Nagapatnis who said to Krishna, "It's good that you have punished him. He deserved it. But factually, your punishment was mercy. It was not a punishment. It was mercy." But then they said, yeah, but you created this world and all this, and you control all these modes. And he has received the body in a mode of ignorance, the body of a serpent. And so that serpent must act in a mode of ignorance, must be envious. It cannot do anything else. So be merciful to him. That was their prayers. Now, Kaliya is going to speak. Kaliya is going to speak. Of course, we will see is quite bewildered after the whole pastime. And more or less he will repeat what his wife said. That mainly. But it's interesting to see how his internal mood changed. Text 56. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kaliya Vacha Vayam Kala Sahutpatya Tamasa Dirhya Manyava Svabhavo Duschayo Nata Dokanam Yat Asatyaha. The serpent Kaliya said, "Our very birth as a snake has made us envious, ignorant, and constant angry. Oh my Lord, it is so difficult for people to give up their conditioned nature, by which they identify with what which is unreal." So Kaliya said here, more or less is saying, I was thinking I was a snake. And but actually, let's wait a minute. So Kaliya said, I was thinking I was a snake, but actually I'm your servant. So, and that is my real identity. That was his realization. So we are thinking that we are so many things, but actually we are all servants of Krishna. The purport. Srila Sanatana Goswami points out that because of his wretched condition, Kaliya was unable to compose original prayers to the Lord. And thus he paraphrased some of the prayers offered by his wives. The word asatyaha indicates that the conditioned soul seizes upon impermanent and impure things such as his own body, the body of others, or other countless varieties of material sense objects. The ultimate result of such material attachment is frustration, disappointment, and anguish, a fact that has now become crystal clear to the poor serpent Kaliya. So the soul is meant to get eternal happiness without any break. That the only way to do that is Disyayatma Suprashidati. the soul becomes completely satisfied. But through devotion, which is ahaitukya apatiyata, unbreakable apatiyata, without interruption, and the devotion should be without any cause. Then we get happiness like that, without stoppage. So that's the only thing that can satisfy the soul. So that happiness we can get if we want. We are on the path, going in that direction at least. Let us not deviate from that path and go straight to Krishna. That's text 57. Kaliya continues. Ayashishtam idam vishvam dattata guna visarjanam nana svabhava virchaya yoni vichya sayakriti. Saying, O Supreme Creator, it is you who generate this universe composed of the variegated arrangements of the material modes, and in the process you manifest various kinds of personalities and species, varieties of sensory and physical strength, and varieties of mothers and fathers with variegated mentalities and forms. So why did Kaliya say that? He must be getting at something that we will find out in the next verse what is going toward, what he's getting at. That he's saying, it's you, Krishna, you made this universe, so therefore, text 58. Pacham satatra bhagavan sarpayat manyava katam tvayamastvam mayam dustayam moitam svayam. O personality of Godhead, among all species within your material creations, we serpents are by nature always enraged, being thus deluded by your illusory energy, which is very difficult to give up. How can we possibly give it up on our own? How can we give up? How can we give it up on our own? That's the question. So Krishna made the creation, and he made the serpents who are always angry. It is Krishna's fault. Or is it Kaliya's fault? Whose fault is it? Kaliya's fault, yes. But he's saying, you made the creation, and you made the snakes. Your illusory energy is difficult to give up. How can we possibly give it up on our own? So he's saying, you gave me this nature, but I cannot go beyond it. I'm forced to act as an angry snake. This is the problem. This is the problem that I have. So in the purport of, it is explained what is behind the prayer purport. Kaliya is here indirectly begging for the Lord's mercy, realizing that on his own he can never become free from illusion and suffering. Only by surrendering to the Lord and obtaining his mercy can one be released from the painful conditions of material life. Now we see that why is he saying all of this? He's saying, you are in control. If you are merciful, then I can be released from this condition. So please, be merciful to me. Please take away this angry, envious nature of mine. focusing my consciousness only on a small part of reality, that I am the enjoyer. So that was his problem, because it was a real problem. We will find out in the next chapter to what extent his pride was there. The next chapter is about the history of Kaliya. Text, how he developed this mentality. 59. Pavanni karanam tatra sarvahyo jagatishvara anugram nihahampa manyase tat fidena. O Lord, since you are the omniscient Lord of the universe, you are the actual cause of freedom from illusion. Please arrange for us whatever you consider proper, whether it be punishment, mercy, or punishment. So he's saying, do as you like. Now he's very surrendered. He's saying, you can give me mercy, you can give me punishment. So, but in Nectar of Devotion, we find a description of Kaliya's mentality. After being chastised by Krishna, this is chapter 36 of the Nectar of Devotion. After being chastised by Krishna, upon being chastised by Krishna, constant kicking on his head, Kaliya, the black snake of the Yamuna, came to his senses and admitted, my dear Lord, I've been so offensive unto you, but still you are so kind that you have marked my head with the impressions of your lotus feet. This is also an instance of one's taking shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. So he took shelter. So first he says, he had no choice. He was forced. Of course, he tried to defy Krishna. But then Krishna forced him to surrender, but now he's voluntarily surrendering. Sometimes the devotees were forced to surrender, and sometimes our heart was not in it. But Krishna wants us to surrender our heart, our intelligence, and everything. So Kaliya did this to the point of full surrender, surrendering everything to Krishna. Then Nectar of Devotion. This is chapter 48, Dread and Ghastliness. There is another instance of a dreadful situation with Krishna as the object as follows. After being sufficiently chastised by child Krishna in the Yamuna river, the Kaliya snake began to address the Lord. O killer of the Mura demon, I've acquired many mystic powers by my austerity and penances, but before you, I'm nothing. I'm most insignificant. Therefore, please be kind upon a poor soul like me, and don't be angry with me. I did not know your actual position, and out of ignorance I've committed such horrible offenses. Please save me. I'm most unfortunate, foolish creature. Please be merciful to me. This is another instance of ecstasy of dread in devotional service. So Kaliya is in Bprs, the ras of fearfulness. First, he was fearful. He was fearful for the residents of Vrindavan. But then Krishna took care of him and he became afraid. 60. Sukadev Goswami said, after hearing Kaliya's words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was acting the role of a human being, replied, O serpent, you may not remain here any longer. Go back to the ocean immediately. accompanied by your retinue of children, wives, and other relatives and friends. Let this river be enjoyed by the cows and the humans. So there is one quality of Krishna which is displayed here. Well, more than one. What would be that quality? That is the protector of his devotees. And he is the supreme controller. Two qualities which come out here in this. But how is Krishna independent in this Lila? That actual point is that he is independent in giving his mercy. Because in the Brahma Mohan Lila, Brahma came and offered so many beautiful prayers. And what did Krishna say to Brahma? Then Brahma offered all these prayers. He didn't say anything. He didn't respond even. He didn't look at him. And Brahma understood, yeah, I'm disturbing Krishna here in his pastime. He wants me to go back. And he offered his respect and he went back to his plan. But when Kaliya came, he was so merciful that he danced on his head. And he marked his head with his lotus feet. So in that way, Krishna is independent. He did not do that with Brahma. Another quality of Krishna in this Lila is a pleasing talker. Pleasing talker. Yeah. We will see Krishna's answers to the Kaliya. That we see here that Krishna speaks sweetly even to his enemy, just to pacify him. So that's called a pleasing talker. Nectar of Devotion, chapter 21. Krishna was such a pleasing talker that after defeating his enemy Kaliya in the water of the Yamuna, he said, "My dear Krishna, my dear king of the snakes, although I've given you so much pain, please do not be satisfied with me. It is my duty to protect these cows, which are worshipped even by the demigods. Only in order to save them from the danger of your presence have I been obliged to banish you from this place." So here, Krishna is like begging forgiveness from Kaliya. Say, "I'm sorry, you have to go. Otherwise, my cows will not be safe." So he was thinking about his cows. So the cows had died. Nectar of Devotion explained. Kaliya was residing within the water of the Yamuna, and as a result, the back portion of that river had become poisoned. There's so many cows who had drunk the water died. Therefore, Krishna, even though he was only 4 or 5 years old, dipped himself into the water, punished Kaliya, and then asked him to leave the place and go elsewhere. At that time, he said that the cows are worshipped even by the demigods. So Krishna is all powerful, and his greatest pleasure is to serve the devotees. So he's very attached to his cows. He wants to serve them. He's telling Kaliya, "Get out of here, because I want my cows to be peaceful in Braj. You are disturbing. You are too much of a disturbance." 661. If a mortal being, so that's Krishna speaking, if a mortal being attentively remembers my command to you, to leave Vrindavan and go to the ocean and narrates this account at sunrise and sunset, it's sunset now, he will never be afraid of you. So yeah, after this evening, you will never be afraid of snakes anymore. But anyway, there is a commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that according to him, this verse has a great significance. This verse is a mantra, he says. We hear from it. May my fame of being punished by placing your feet on my head remain as long as the sun and moon endure. Because of the statement, you will no longer have fear of snakes. This verse should be considered a mantra to ward off snake bites. There is another mantra in the Rig Veda. Yayuna Hridayedi, Sosvatayo Narayana, Pano Yati Kalika, Dantasya Yata Kakali Da Vayam Janma Bunna Parikantuni Vishu Yati Kalika. So you can memorize it. If there are snakes, it will ward off the snakes. So if you have problems with snakes, you can chant this verse. It's a mantra. Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives another mantra, which we heard here. So all the verses of Bhagavad Gita have great potency and great power. Each verse is a mantra. And Acharyas give us a glimpse of the power of each mantra. So this mantra, this particular verse has the potency to protect one from snake bites. What happens after I'm reading from, what happens after that? I will now read from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the last part of the Kaliya, Lila. This is from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Having first subdued the king of snakes, Krishna seizes the shawls of the serpent's wives, the Nagapatnis, who are offering him prayers. From these garments he made a long rein, a rope, and with his left hand he playfully thread and pierced Kaliya's nose. Mounting the serpents like a horse, Krishna swiftly drove him forward all the way, with his right hand happily playing the flute. So, Krishna is having a ride on Kaliya. So from time to time, Krishna is urging Kaliya to come with the flute, as if it were a whip. Thus he showered great mercy on Kaliya by making that servant his carrier. From the purport of Bhagavatamrita. The Nagapatnis after Krishna offer Krishna clothing, pregnant paste, flower garlands, and priceless jewels, ornaments, and Krishna placed them on the serpent's hoods. Then with the Padma Utpala and other lotus flowers that those wives brought to offer him from the Yamuna, those same ornaments he had already put on Kaliya. Krishna decorated the gopis and himself. So he was having really a good time. In his commentary it is said, when the Nagapatnis presented ornaments, Krishna did not put them immediately on his own body. First he put them on Kaliya's hoods, and while he and the gopis were still standing on the hoods, he decorated the gopis and himself. So all this is going on now. So the king of the serpents, with his countless mouths, recited prayers to Krishna. Krishna emerged from the lake, making all his family and friends dance with joy. together with the troop of young coward girls, most amazing, Krishna dismounted Kaliya. The serpent was filled with happiness, for he had obtained great favors and benedictions difficult for even Garuda to achieve. So Krishna was there, the gopis were there, and he gave them other benedictions. So Krishna was drenched with a flood of joyful tears from the eyes of Nanda and the others who absorbed them in worshipping him and embracing him again and again. So Krishna gave then the serpent some instructions and exiled him from the lake. Out of sheer spontaneous joy, the coward men and women celebrated a charming festival of music and so on, and other expressions of gaiety. Completely satisfied, Krishna returned to his village. So Krishna is always happy. He always knows how to have a good time. He's the only enjoyer. That's an interesting lesson. So he knows how to enjoy, even in the midst of demoniac influence. Text 62, Krishna continues. If one bathes in this place of my pastimes and offers the water of this lake to the demigods and other worshipful personalities, or if one observes the fast and duly worships and remembers me, is sure to become free from all sinful reactions. So there is no water there now in the Kaliya lake. That not today. But 1 year it flooded and water came up to the Kaliya lake. If we just remember this place and chant these verses, then we get the result. What was the result? We get free from sinful reactions. Just by remembering that. This is a quote from the Bhakti Ratnakar about the Kadamba tree. The Kadamba tree where Krishna jumped in the water. So the beauty of the Kadamba, from which Krishna dove into the lake, is described in the scriptures such as the Adi Varaha Purana. Now this is a very old Purana. This is from 5,000 years ago, and even before it was existing. This tree must be really ancient. Until a few years you could see this tree. I've been there. So it is at least 5,000 years old and maybe much more. The Pandits have visualized many transcendental things in this place. Interesting. That Kadamba tree, which is situated on the eastern side of the Kaliya lake, has many scented branches. The charming and auspicious tree blooms throughout the 12 months of the year and brightens the whole world. The sin-destroying place Kaliya Tirtha is where Krishna danced on Kaliya's hut. Whoever takes a bath and wishes Vasudev in this holy place achieves the service of Lord Krishna, which is completely unattainable by vile persons. I took a bath there. Maybe therefore I have so much service. Yeah. So it does not only in Srimad Bhagavatam that it says that you get free from all sinful reactions, but here it is said in the Saura Purana, mentioned in Bhakti Ratnakar, that you get devotional service if you go to Kaliya Tirtha. 63, 64. Out of fear of Garuda, you left Ramanaka Island and came to take shelter of this lake. But because you are now marked with my footprints, Garuda will no longer try to eat you. So Kaliya, this is 63. I will read also 64. Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, having been released by Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose activities are wonderful, Kaliya joined his wives in worshipping him with great joy and reverence. This is the purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments as follows on this verse. The word Adbhuta Karmana indicates that the Lord's wonderful activities of saving the residents of Vrindavan from Kaliya, saving Kaliya himself from Garuda, and bestowing grace upon both the victims of violence and the committer of that violence. The word Krishnena by Krishna indicates that because Kaliya's wives were great devotees of the Lord and offered him loving affection, Krishna withdrew Garshana on both Kaliya's offense against the Lord's devotee Garuda, and that against the residents of Vrindavan, who were very dear to him. So Kaliya, he did a very big Vaishnava apparat. The cows died, the cowherd boys died, drinking water, and he was giving them so many, he gave so many troubles to the devotees. But as stated here, because of his wives who were Vaishnavas, he got mercy of Krishna. So how wonderful it is. It is just someone in your family is a devotee. Then there is so much benefit. So better you become that devotee and you deliver your family. That Sanatana Goswami says in this verse, freed means let go by Krishna, or else he has been already freed from before, and this is simply a repeated statement. Whose activities are wonderful indicated that although punishment was given by driving him out of the lake, Kaliya attained his previous place of happy residence. Out of fear of Garuda, he gave it up. But now he's marked with the lotus feet of Krishna. There will be a friendship between Kaliya and Garuda. They are actually half brothers. They have the same father. Who is the father? Kashyapa Muni. But they were deadly enemies. That's you. The history is in the next chapter. Krishna said, because you have been marked with my footprints, Garuda will not try again to eat you. His heads are now sanctified, and he got the dust of the Lord's lotus feet, which even Brahma didn't get. Brahma, of course, did offer obeisance to Krishna's lotus feet, but Krishna did not put his feet on his head like he did to Kaliya. Amazing. So even the gods of fortune, the demigods, everyone wants that dust. Even the Vedas are searching for it. So the dust of Krishna's lotus feet has three qualities. You know these three qualities of the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna? It's Madhu, Amrita, Ashava. Madhu, it's like honey. Amrit, it's like nectar. Ashava, it's intoxicating. And who said that? Was Lord Brahma who said that. He said that also we, the demigods, are getting the benefit of experiencing your lotus feet by drinking the cups of the senses of the Brajavasis. Oh, the cups of the senses of the Brajavasis. These are the demigods who are directing our senses. That's a cooperation between the demigods. You need fire to move it. There are 33 million demigods of the upper arm muscles of the left arm, and but they have all their demigods. But so they are also connected with their energies, so they experience it also. And then he said that your lotus feet are Madhu, Amrit, and Ashava, intoxicating beverage. Here Sanatana Goswami says in his final words, Kaliya drank the nectar of the Lord's charming words, after which he performed worship just like a first-class devotee. So even that which to the external vision seems to be punishment was special mercy. Even apparent anger appeared to be perfect satisfaction on the part of the Lord. So we cannot tell what's going on by our external vision. So there are a lot of comments of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur from the Saraswata Darshini, but I will not read them all, but we will read the next verses. 65. So many comments. We could have 10 seminars on that. On this Kaliya. So many commentaries. I'm just trying to give the nectar. But practically it's all nectar. Kaliya worshipped the Lord of the universe by offering him fine garments, along with necklaces, jewels, and other valuable ornaments, wonderful scents and ointments, and a large garland of lotus flowers. Having thus pleased the Lord, whose flag is marked with the emblem of Garuda, Kaliya felt satisfied, receiving the Lord's permission to leave. Kaliya circumambulated him and offered him obeisance. Then, taking his wife, friends, and children, he went to the island in the sea. The very moment Kaliya left, the Yamuna was immediately restored to her original condition, free from poison and full of nectarian water. This happened by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was manifesting a human-like form to enjoy his pastimes. Yeah, but the purport here. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented extensively on this verse. To explain this word, Mani Bihi, Kali worshipped the Lord with jewels. Acharya is quoted from the Radha Krishna Ganodesha Dipika by Rupa Goswami as follows. Kastu Pakyo Maniyena Pavisha Radha Mauragam Kaliya Prayasi Vrinda Aster Atmo Paharita. The lotus made his Kaustubha jewel enter the serpent's lake, and then he arranged for it to be presented to himself by the hands of Kaliya's wives. Interesting. In other words, because Lord Krishna wanted to act like an ordinary human being, he made the transcendental Kaustubha jewel invisible and caused it to enter within Kaliya's treasury. Then the appropriate moment came for Kaliya to worship the Lord with many different jewels and ornaments. The serpent's wives, unaware of the Lord's transcendental trick, presented him the Kaustubha jewel, thinking it was simply one of the jewels in their possession. That's quite amazing. The Acharya had further commented that the reason Lord Krishna is described in this verse as Garuda Dvaja, he whose flag is marked with the symbol of this carrier Garuda, is that Kaliya also desired to become Lord Krishna's carrier. Garuda and the serpents are originally related as brothers, and therefore Kaliya wanted to indicate to Lord Krishna, if you ever have to go to a distant place, you should also think of me as your personal carrier. I'm the servant of your servant. In a wink of an eye, I can travel hundreds and millions of yojanas. Thus, the Puranas narrate that in the course of Lord Krishna's eternal cycle of pastimes, when Kamsa orders the Lord to come to Mathura, he sometimes goes there mounted on Kaliya. That's in pastime in another day of Brahma. So this is from chapter 42, Nectar of Devotion, Fraternal Loving Affairs. When Krishna came to the Yamuna after chastising Kaliya, Sridham wanted to embrace him first, but he could not raise his arms because of his great feeling of respect. We will find out in the next chapter how everyone, the cowherd boys, the cowherd men, the gopis, etc., were covered slowly. Giriraj Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, Kaliya had hundreds of hoods. How could Krishna manage all these hoods? Giriraj Maharaj. So Prabhupada replied, you do not understand Krishna. You are trying to understand Krishna from your point of view. Kaliya may have unlimited number of hoods, but Krishna can expand himself. Giriraj said, oh, he expanded himself? So Prabhupada said, oh yes, he had to expand himself to dance with the gopis as he had his Rasa Lila. He would have to expand again and dance with him on Kaliya's hoods. Another devotee, Bhagavat, said, did residents see the many expansions, or did they see only one Krishna? Good question. The Prophet said, they may see one. That is not difficult to understand. Just like Arjuna saw the Virat Roop of Krishna, and others saw Krishna as a chariot driver. Only Arjuna got that vision as Vishvarupa. So when the gopis see Krishna, or an ordinary man sees Krishna, it's very different. Oh, they think this is a village boy, they are worshipping. And he quoted some sadhu in Hardwar who said, Bhaktivedanta Swami is worshipping a rural boy, some village boy. Giriraj Swami. We were discussing that in Golok there are no demons. The Prabhupada said, no, there can be no any demons in Golok. Vaikuntha means no anxiety, no demons. It can be Vaikuntha if there are demons. So anxiety is created by the demons. So if Krishna wants to fight, then he has to come down here. Otherwise, he cannot fight in Vaikuntha. He can have mock fighting with his friends, but not really by killing demons. So for that pleasure of killing demons, he has to come to the material world. So there is a conversation about the Fiji temple. Fiji is an island in Polynesia. So Bharatraj Prabhu asked Srila Prabhupada, what is the special significance of constructing a Kaliya Krishna temple in Fiji? Srila Prabhupada said, they said that Kaliya lived there, so Fiji may be the place of Kaliya. Bharatraj said, is that true? Srila Prabhupada said, it might be, but anyway, it's Krishna's Lila. That is what Prabhupada said. He didn't say yes or no. So Bharatraj said, Kaliya became a devotee after Krishna subdued him. Srila Prabhupada said, yes. Bharatraj said, then they are both worshipable. Srila Prabhupada said, yes. That is why they had Kaliya Krishna. So Krishna is dancing on the heads of Kaliya. Kaliya is a devotee, so we can worship him as a devotee of Krishna. Then Madhuvananda, in another conversation with Srila Prabhupada in Detroit, is speaking about the lakes in America, and they are having a morning walk. Madhuvananda said, they are ruining the waterways with the factories waste. When I was flying to Detroit, I saw these big oil slips. Kaliya had its own pollution, but now there is so much pollution of the lakes and the rivers. Dyumna said to Prabhupada, just like the Kaliya serpent poisoning the river. You have come to dance on their heads. Srila Prabhupada said, so he's saying that Srila Prabhupada came to America to dance on the heads of the demons. Sometimes Vishnu Jan Maharaj, when they were going to big cities and they see the skyscrapers, they were comparing it with going into the belly of Aghasur. But Srila Prabhupada will protect us. They compared the city of LA with the belly of Aghasur. So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that Kaliya represents cruelty, maliciousness, pride, envy, a snake-like crookedness. He particularly tried to pour his poison into the parts of innocent Vaishnavas, which Krishna cannot tolerate. So the Lord killed him. Further Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. Kaliya is a type of cunning and malice. He is the embodiment of unrelenting cruelty. There is no place for Kaliya in the happy realm of Braj. Deceit and cruelty are his poison to the heartless denizens of Braj. To the denizens of Braj. Not to entertain any suspicion regarding the malicious intention, cruel deceit of persons, to poison them against Krishna. They may even unwittingly fall into the counsel of such evil persons, but Krishna is sure to rescue his own from the vials of his enemies. Krishna had a plan to cure the evil intentions of Kali himself. The process consists of letting him feel the touches of his dancing feet. And how is Kali feeling when Krishna was dancing on his head? He was feeling like death, suffering. He was really like being tortured by Krishna, almost dancing. Anyone who tries to poison devotees will feel Krishna dancing on his head. Just as he danced on Kaliya. But Kaliya tried to bear up against all chastisements. He keeps bringing up one head and another head and another head, instead of feeling the joy of supporting the feet of Krishna on his nasty hoods. The monster finds it impossible to bear its good fortune without undergoing the pangs of actual death. Even the lawful wives of Kaliya, who desires the reformation of Kaliya and who are the cause of Krishna's mercy towards him, are at last forced to intercede by their prayers for his banishment from the realm of Vraj. But the pride of Kaliya has received a mortal check. The banishment of Kaliya from the lake of the Yamuna has a most important spiritual significance. Those who have a purpose to create trouble against the pure devotee by infecting devotees by their own malicious disposition will meet with a degree of initial success. This inspires them to attack Krishna directly when he appears on the scene to restore the faith of his own bona fide associates. Those who are not succeedingly clever cannot be servants of Lord Krishna. But the service of Krishna is also never available to those who are cunningly employed to deprive Krishna the fullness of his enjoyment. Kaliya and those who are actuated by their malicious disposition, are also styled clever in the ordinary. Such rascals may also have the impudence of taking their stance upon the text of the scriptures and using the cunningness in a graveless attempt, depriving Krishna of their service. This kind of conduct may also pass undetected and may even be regarded as the perfect skill of confidential service. But Krishna will expose the real nature of the villain, just as it has been successful and misleading his best loved ones. It's quite high language from Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj, published in the Harmonist. So that was the pastime of Kaliya. Yes?
Demons who seemingly their intent is to harm the boys, and Krishna will give them some time to do that for the beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was that to call people against Islam.
Yeah.
But finally, he came up successful 2 years.
Yeah.
Said it was a test about, in other words, he took it as a sign of success. Now the demons are afraid of us, and now they're attacking. So that's a sign of success.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj says, yes. They let them go for some time, have some success, and then they feel so inspired that they will attack Krishna directly. Any other point? Yes.
So all pastimes what we have in Lent are meant for purification. I think that each demon represents our anarchs. So before pastimes with the gold priest and stuff, we have to first purify our heart and mind to these pastimes of killing demons, to be able to understand pastimes with you.
Yeah, so your point is, this pastime comes before the pastime of the gopis, and that's the highest. So we first need to hear about the killing of all these demons, to get these demons out of our heart before we can hear it. But it said, in the beginning of the 10th canto, in the first verses, you have this first Nivita Taksar Bhagyamanat Babastak Shotramanobiranat, where Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Pariksit said, you want to hear about Krishna directly, but is your heart free from lust? Did you hear the first 9 cantos with attention? Did the lust disappear from your heart? Otherwise, you are not qualified. You must hear more first. But interesting is what you are saying here, that it are lessons for us to be learned here. And it makes sense, but maybe it's about the purification of the most subtle anarthas in our heart. But anyway, the benediction is one who hears just this pastime becomes purified. So it purifies us. But that's also true for the gopis dance. If there the same is said, if we But this meditation on the gopis and hearing these pastimes purifies one.
Before to translate it.
Krishna book is not identical with the 10th canto because the Krishna book is expertly mixed with Srila Prabhupada with explanations by which we can understand it. Yes, please.
Basically, so I'm currently invited to one of the Republican, of course, I'm creating this Republican spirit. But something I noticed is that the coming here in Montreal is the same that you have in the first world. So basically, it is, we came to the entire first world. The Chicago is the first book, and after the part of the realm before after that part was so far I don't participate anymore. Well, the disciples used the first book to comment the revelation of God. So this is the glory of the first book. People God was that much of a visionary. And once again, Christian book has everything. Because Srila Prabhupada here, if somebody would just get this book distributed on the street, he wanted everything to be there, like the first copy of Srila Prabhupada. Because he has no idea how wrong he was.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada wanted to give us the Krishna book because he was thinking I can go every moment. At least, and then they have Krishna's pastimes. But it is described in a way that we can understand it and without. But it is true that Bhanu Maharaj, Hridayananda Maharaj, and so on, who then translated the later, they used Prabhupada's commentaries from the Krishna book. But not only that, they integrated also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sanatana Goswami, and Shiva Goswami's commentaries. They are also there, and even Sridhar Swami's, because Srila Prabhupada used them also. And they give deeper insights which require, that we are to a certain extent purified to understand them. Yes?
Sometimes I find myself, I do read the books, Krishna books, in Srimad Bhagavatam, but I can't really relate to anything of what's happening. So even with the process of going through it, eventually it's going to make more sense.
It's better to read first the first nine cantos, but to understand it deeply. But it is no harm to read Krishna book even before you read the entire Bhagavatam. There's no harm, although you may not get a deeper understanding. But if you go directly to the 10th canto, skipping everything and go to the rasa dance, that may be harmful because you will misunderstand this rasa lila and you will concede to your understanding of the lust or the love in this world, which is lust. And that's not going to purify you. That's Srila Prabhupada used a heavy word there, but it's going to degrade you. Just the opposite effect. So we have to be careful. But if you read Krishna book, no problem. It's different from the 10th canto in that sense, because Srila Prabhupada expertly described this so that we cannot misunderstand it in the Krishna book. Very nice. Yeah. Anything else?
This actually is very, elaborately explain everything of his pastimes.
Yeah, but it's not only commentator. Jiva Goswami wrote extensive commentaries on many parts of the 10th canto. Then Sanatan Goswami also that then you have Sridhar Swami, the original commentators, and you have other Vaishnava commentators like Harishauri and so on, but I'm not using them because Srila Prabhupada didn't use them. He must have a reason, but there are also other Vaishnava commentators on it. Good. Anything else? So thank you very much. I was very happy to be with you because tomorrow I'm flying back to Europe. I'm looking forward to see you again. May, right? Next year, if Krishna willing.
Where are you going now?
And now I'm flying to Brussels next week. I give some classes in Radhadesh and we'll celebrate Govardhan Puja there. And then I have a few classes in temples in Belgium. And on the 1st of November, I'm flying to Ujjain. And the first 2 weeks in Ujjain, I will have classes in the temple and for the brahmacharis, and I will follow an Ayurvedic cure in the clinic. And then I will have preaching in Bhopal, Patnarwar, Indore, and then the 21st, I'm flying back to Belgium, programs in Belgium for 3 days, and then I'm traveling to Germany, then to Czech Republic, then to Slovakia, coming back by the end of the year. And in January, I'm not traveling, no travel. I have a lot of online classes, Bhakti Shastri for New York and different, but it's a whole month not traveling, I need a break. And then I'm going to the GBC meetings, Mayapur, for 2 weeks. And then to travel to the Netherlands, and then to Bulgaria, Belgium, and then I'm going to Suriname in April, and Ghana, Guyana, and Trinidad, back to Belgium, and then I come back to Montreal at the beginning of May. Let's see. I'm the big plan maker. Let's see what Krishna wants, but I make my plans for him. Let's see. Thank you very much. Shantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.